lost our minds in the darkness of night. We live to die. We lose our souls every day. We lost our minds. We don't remember what's wrong and what's right. What's right. The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon. We are We are just shadows. It's supposed to be that we die. It doesn't matter if there is no light anymore, no light anymore. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die.
Alrighty, let's get this going. Hello, everybody. Good evening. All right. Interesting. So let's get this started. So what the game plan for today is to it's gonna be a little bit different than how I usually do it. I mean, I think I'm gonna like doing it this way regardless for the future, but give it a shot. Game plan today is just gonna be talking about well, I would say how well it went on Saturday, but how it went on Saturday, how I think the list I brought performed, changes I'd make to it, and then, pending how long that ends up taking, some other things. Got the Invitational right around the corner. Quick, nice, fast turnaround for that. So obviously I want to talk about that a little bit. Talk a little bit about next year plans. I mean, I don't want to say they'll be ambitious or like really spoiling too much, but just kind of ideas that I know both myself, Quinn, and others have for next year. Even though, I mean, I say end of year, but it's really not end of year. You know, we do have the Invitational, but we're definitely slowing down. You know, not going to be playing tournaments every single week or every single month, stuff like that. Got LVO right around the corner, so it's like end of year for Warp Storm for sure, but not end of year for a lot of us guys that are still competing and grinding. So let's get to it. Saturday, I decided to bring the long-awaited Votann. So this was pretty much my list. I don't know, it'll be easier. It'll probably be easier looking at it like this. So I'm going to just kind of do a quick rundown of the list, kind of what I wanted to play, the reasons behind things, and obviously the things I wanted to change based on what happened on Saturday. So, why is There we go. That looks a lot better. So, as you can see, I went Ymir Conglomerate. Reason being, adds the 4 inches to the range of your guns, gives you a much needed invuln, something that none of this army really has. And then the Ancestral Judgment. If you're half range and they have a judgment token, AP is improved by 1. So with all those factors, you can take those medium range guns and get a lot more efficiencies out of them because you can actually shoot them. You don't have to be as close to get the extra effect from Ancestral Judgment. All that kind of fun stuff. So since it's organized alphabetically, we'll start with talking about the Forge Master, how I have him built, and all that other kind of fun stuff. So with the Forge Master, he has he's the Iron Master upgraded to the Forge Master for the points. That lets you do a War Gear stratagem, reducing by 1 per battle round, which I think is obviously very good. It lets you do things like the Votann transhuman stratagem. They let you do, what else does he let you do? I believe he lets you do the Auspex scan that they have as well for 1 less CP. He lets the ion guns from the warriors, that strap, be free. He essentially just lets all your war gear stuff, war gear categorized stratagems for free, most of them. He has the healing wounds. He's basically just like the Votann Tech Master or Tech Marine. That's pretty much his like main role. With the upgrade to a Forge Master, he gets the Forge Master's Eye. So therefore, whenever you have an unmodified wound roll of a 6, if that target has a judgment token on it, and it's mortals instead of the damage. The Assistant, which I didn't realize until actually playing, lets you be able to shoot and perform an action. Oh, it's advanced, not action. Oh, I messed that up. Oh no, my 0 points I scored on R&D round 2 and 3. I cheated on. I'm sorry. You can advance and shoot, which actually is even better. Wow, that changes a lot of things. I wish I would have read that correctly. Oh, I did read it. Okay, so you can perform actions. I just didn't read this part. I just didn't continue reading. That's the problem. And then the reason why you want him to be the Forge Master is because then it opens up the Warlord trait, Master Armorer. And what that does for you is instead of rolling the D3, you just heal the flat 3. And then because of ECOG support, you get to add 1 to that. So that lets you heal flat 4. Obviously a very good concept. And then once per battle round, when you fail a saving throw for an actual frame or vehicle, you can make the damage of that wound 0. Which, again, obviously a very strong concept. And then he lets a vehicle or core get +1 to hit. His actual guns, the Master Artifice upgrades the Graviton rifle, so then it becomes a beam weapon. So that way, more opportunities for the Forge Master's Eye to trigger, thus doing more mortals, dealing with things a little bit easier. And then just like, realistically speaking, just like most most Space Marine Army Tech Marines, they're deceptively decent in combat. A hammer that's strength 8 minus 2 damage, that becomes 3 damage most of the time. Manipulated arms is like but you got, again, another plasma torch. It's +4, -4, 2 damage. So I guess that's not terrible. Ironheart Champion, I didn't really do much with him. I just gave him Guild Connections, which I believe is the Ymir Conglomerate specific thing, where you can increase the damage of your weapons by 1. So you make the Darkstar Axe +2. So, or 2 damage, +1 to 2 damage. Thus, making him a lot more reliable to deal with wound capped stuff, because he gets to ignore wound caps and Velo Pains. So, that's nice. High Call, I just gave him the Warlord trait. He's the Warlord of the Army as well. For Experienced Eye, and upgrade him to the High Call, so therefore he gets the where is it? Oh, the Chapter Master rerolls. Which, again, it's always good to have in an army. And then Grim Efficiency. lets you do the judgment token once per turn, and an experienced eye lets you do that an additional time, just not on the same unit. So you can't make one unit go from 1 to 3, 0 to 2, etc. I downgraded him to the teleport crest. I never used it. It mainly was for points. I needed the 5 extra points, and this was the easiest cut to make since he already has the 4-up invuln. So there just was no need for him to have it. And I decided to go with the Vulcanite Disintegrator instead of, I think he's got like a regular like auto bolt cannon or autarch pattern bolter, just because it's a 4-1-1 gun versus a 5-0-1 that has potential to do mortals. That's more what it was for, especially if they have a judgment token. That means like, okay, no, the attack sequence ends, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, you just have potential to do 3 mortals. That's really it. Again, he's not, for how I wanted to play him, he really wasn't going to be doing much. He was just going to kind of be there passing out the buff, existing. And then for my troop slots, I've got warriors with the meta pack, because the meta pack lets you ignore the first failed save. And then you have the stratagem opened up to you to res D3 models. So I have all 3 of those warriors with that. So I've got 1 warrior unit with bolters, 2 with ion blasters. And again, the main reason why I went with that is because the ion blasters are 5-2-2 versus the 4-1-1. With the world being an Armor of Contempt, what's up, my dude? With Armor of Contempt being a thing, -1 never feels good. So when you're a very shooty army and you have the potential to at least apply 1 AP, it's good to have. At least you're, modifying dice a little bit, even though it's just a 3 to a 4, it always helps. So the Ion Blaster units, I gave them both the Metapack and the Scanner to ignore light cover, just to, again, assist with the fact that Armor of Contempt is a thing. I want to actually apply some form of modifier to their dice. And then I also gave them special weapon upgrades, the Plasma Beamer, Magna Rail Rifle. Magna Rail Rifle has the beam keyword. My army was really trying to utilize and abuse the beam profile. I'll get more into that when I get to the actual land fortresses. And the Magna Rail, it's hard to pass it up. No invuln, 9 -4, D3 +3. It's kind of hard to pass that up. And then the absolute MVPs that I ended up discovering after playing a game yesterday, that I shorted myself on an unbelievable amount of attacks. For some reason, I read it as each time this attack is made with the sweep profile, you get an additional attack, not you make 2 hit rolls. So I was attacking with only 4 per guy, when I should have been attacking with 6 per guy, which in some cases may have helped. But yeah, I think Berserks, after playing them, they're so good. Reroll the charges, fight on death. They get a 5-up invuln being in Ymir, 5-up Feel No Pain, and with a lot of stuff right now being damage 1, 4-up Feel No Pain. Like, these guys just felt so unbelievably awesome to play. I thought they performed exactly how I expected them to. It was awesome. I absolutely love these models. I want to just make lists with a whole bunch of these guys. Fast attacks, you'll see it in every Votann list. Pioneers. Again, equipped with 1 Ion Beamer. And again, I just really wanted to use that keyword. I was really looking for the efficiencies for the stratagem that when you hit something with a beam weapon, you can spend a CP, and every single time a beam weapon then hits that unit, for every hit on a 4-up, they take a mortal to a max of 6. So again, it was just about applying a whole bunch of damage to multiple different units, and then shooting at a thing that was semi-durable and killing them with mortals. So like that was really the potential of what I wanted to do with this list and what I wanted to accomplish. And they're both geared the same way. They have the Searchlight for the stratagem. Again, once I hit something with the Searchlight keyword, I can apply Judgment Token. Just ways to get, the Judgment Tokens out faster, get those numbers I need, get to those auto wounds, get things up to 3 Judgment Tokens a lot faster as well. Land Fortresses, I have 1 built with the SP Heavy Conversion Beamer. Again, MVP of the weekend. That extra one additional hit for every hit is beautiful. It was such a good thing to have. Again, also strapped with the ion beamers. And the other fortress still has ion beamers, but I did have the one rail cannon just because I wanted another good, efficient gun into the big tanky matchups, i.e. knights. And realistically against demons as well, just because if they happen to make that one fail, it's a lot of damage. So it's like a minimum 8 damage to something, so with the potential of it being 12. So basically taking, against knights, putting most of them to like bracketed range, putting a lot of the big stuff to bracketed range if they fail that save. So that's the list. Round 1, I faced Grey Knights, and I want to say the game plan, everything was going according to the game plan. I was getting a lot of shots through multiple different units, but the small oversight I ended up discovering while playing this army is Armor of Contempt is still very, very good. As you can see from most of the AP of most of these guns, it's -2, -2, -1, -2. So though I was making them 4-ups, it's still a 50-50 save. It's not the 5-ups that it used to be. So I started realizing that game 1, facing a Space Marine army with Armor of Contempt, and I'm like, all right, I'm starting to feel the Armor of Contempt. Like, it doesn't feel good. My opponent's making a lot of 4-ups. It's not going great for me. Then he had an amazing Psychic phase, turn 3. Like, really good Psychic phase. Almost picked up both land fortresses in it. Like, really solid Psychic phase. But then, kind of like all weekend, turn 4 hit, and I just, like, picked up, like, 90% of his army. Like, all my guns, like, wounded, auto-wounding, everything started having, 3 judgment tokens, and I just picked up a whole bunch of bodies. But yeah, that was, I ended up going 0-3. That's why it's like I'm not trying to like delve too deep into the games. I'd much rather talk about what I've noticed with Votann, especially with it being a new army, a new codex, a lot of new tools, and things I learned, and how I wanted to break that down to express to other people. Look at your losses and learn from them. Don't just be like, well, my dice sucked. It must have been the dice. It must have been this. It must have been that. Oh, my opponent must have been this. Like, don't get me wrong. Dice were really good for my opponents on Saturday and really poor for me. But I'm not going to say that's the reason why I lost. I definitely realized after everything was done, I was already thinking of things I wanted to tune for the list and stuff like that. So yeah, round 1, I started feeling that. I really started feeling the Armor of Contempt. Really started feeling. I was like, man, this is just. And then but when the Berserks came out and started fighting, they started clapping cheeks. Like I said, the Berserks were just. Love the Berserks. They did a great job. Round 2, I faced Creations of Bile. And I felt semi-confident in that one, just because it's like, okay, this is a strictly melee army, and he had, like, no tech of guns. He had, like, bolters, pistols, just, like, 401 guns. Like, nothing too scary. No, like, Meltas hidden anywhere. No crazy Psyker hidden anywhere. Just, like, hey. Yeah, like I said, it was like that turn 4. I noticed that all weekend. Like turn 4, my army was just like, we're gonna shine. Obviously, having the auto wounding force definitely help. Yeah, so round 2, I have Creations of Bile, and especially with how he deployed his stuff, I really wanted first turn. I was like, first turn, I could have taken out 2 rhinos. I could have had so much fun if I got first turn. Didn't get first turn. He was pretty much able to do what a good, fast-moving melee army can do on turn 1, and he was able to hide everything. He was able to throw everything into buildings and other kind of fun stuff, and I just never was able to get good shots off. And the only thing he left exposed were Flamer units, and if anybody knows the Flamers, they have a 3-up save in shooting that can't be modified, so. Again, it's hard to gauge guns when my opponents have a really good save. But again, once he came out and my Berserkers started fighting him, And again, this is the situation where it's like I wish I would have realized I got that many attacks with them. The Berserks held their ground, even against his fight on death. I mean, we both had fight on deaths. My Berserks won every fight. Like I said, the Berserks performed immaculately, especially because a lot of the weapons are only damage 1 in melee. So I didn't care that he fought me back. It was 5-ups into 4-ups. I'll take those saves all day. And they're also 2 wounds as well, which helps out so much. And I said the Berserks are just, they're insanely good. I absolutely love these guys. I was probably down that game 30 points going into bottom of 5, and I only ended up losing by 10. I had 3 turns of 4 on primary, and then turn 5 out of 12, plus the 7 bonus for holding the middle at the end of the game. So it's like 1 or 2 better turns from me, and 1 or 2 like worse turns from my opponent. Definitely could have swung my way, 100%. Or just maneuvering a little bit better by me. There was one thing I said right away too, like I just gave up a warrior unit for no reason. And I realized I deployed a little wrong as well. I had everything on the left flank of my army, and then I just decided to throw a warrior unit on the right flank by themselves. So they just kind of came and killed them. And I was like, well, I just kind of threw away 100 points kind of for no reason. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we were talking about it a little bit in game. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I kind of threw away. I knew that side of the table was going to be a big throwaway side of the table anyways, because he had a lot of his actual units on that side. He had all his like big heavy hitters on my left side. That's why I put everything on the left side. So like I said, I should have just given him the right side and just played for that left side and just took over the map that way. But again, hindsight being 2020. But once again, another AOC army, also with flamers that have an unmodified 3-up save. It hurts guns. Round 3 was against Reyna and their demons. And again, I got second turn. And pretty much had demons in my shit turn 1. And wasn't able to recover. Again, I'm shooting into a whole bunch of 3-up, 4-up unmodified saves. Constantly having the 5 Warp Storm dice, so I couldn't really ever have a guaranteed kill turn because they could just res everything up. Yeah, I feel like I had semi-bad matchups, semi-bad rolls, and a below-average decision-making. I definitely feel like I could have played better in certain situations and realized certain things. I was never able to really get the strategy off of this army. The beam weapon mortals. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, the whole concept of this army is to have that turn 1-2 explosiveness of applying a lot of judgment tokens early, getting the mortals off on the beam weapons, taking out a lot of your big scary stuff, and to let the berserkers come out and go crazy. And I had to just always play on the back foot. I faced a lot of fast armies. I faced a lot of armies that are good in melee. A lot of armies that have at least 1 or 2 good guns. And it's just like I just never was able to get a footing with the list I made. The other realization I made as well, secondaries are crap. The Votann secondaries are not good. Ancestors watching, you're always going to take just because it's how you play the game anyways, so why not score points for playing the game? It's kind of like Purifying Writ for Grey Knights. Like, it's an easy secondary to score regardless, but it's like, even if it wasn't, you're probably still taking that one because it's the most efficient secondary that army has. You're playing so many dudes anyways, you can combat squad dudes, you can run a whole bunch of 5-mans, like, there's no reason to not really ever take that secondary. So that's like the same with Ancestors watching. You're pretty much always taking it. And then after that, you don't really have a good option. You don't. I took R&D 2 rounds. Big mistake. What what else did I end up taking? I can't even think of everything I took because I said it was just not good. They're gonna come over here. It is gonna come over here. Get over here. What did I take round one? Oh, I took Abhor the Witch, obviously, because I'm facing Grey Knights. It was Abhor the Witch. It was banners, just because it was that easy one. The mission was easy for banners, where you can just raise 2 banners and kind of score your 10, call it a day. Against Creations of Bile, I took Assassinate, just because he was running, I think, like 6 characters. Obviously, Ancestors Watching, and that was, another round where I took RND, thinking that maybe, 1 to 2 good turns of shooting, I can establish half the board, so I can at least get an 8 on it. Again, not a great strategy, but it was better than nothing. It's kind of where I was at. Round 3, again, it was Bring It Down, RND, and Ancestors Watching. Bring It Down just because it was at least 12 points if I got rid of all the big dumb dudes. And yeah, like it just, unfortunately, the stars didn't align. The game plan didn't go according to the plan. Like I said, I learned a lot from this army, and some things that I was told from, the Votann Reddit when I initially posted my list and was talking to people, and I wholeheartedly agree. The number one critique I have for Votann, the warriors suck. These guys are terrible. They're not worth their points in the slightest. After talking, Art and I played a game on Sunday where he played Votann, and we talked a little bit afterwards, and we both agreed that the points nerf was maybe a wee bit too ambitious for the nerf to Votann. I don't think... I think everybody just got excited about the auto wounding always being 6s, and then just saw the potential of the mortals with the beam weapons and all the interactions you have with them being 6s, and then I took that away and did the point nerf without seeing them play. Am I saying Votann is bad? Not in the slightest. Definitely want to go back to the drawing board. I do like the fact that I made a chrono list back when we were still kind of like in the leak era for Votann, and it actually did end up winning a tournament. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it was pretty much the same exact list that I put together, which makes me quite excited. But to not stray too far off the topic, like I said, that's the number one change. I would much rather do like a patrol on a Vanguard, or in a world double Vanguard. Like I just don't want these guys. Or if I'm taking them, I'm probably not even going to pay for the meta pack. Like I'm just going to take a 10-man vanilla with bolters and call it a day. Just park them on the back objective, hope nobody gets to them and touch them, and just keep them there forever. Again, I love the Berserks. I definitely want to run so many more Berserks. I think them as 10-mans would just make them absolutely absurd. I would say with me, I'd probably have the mentality of how I run my Repentia with them. Like running a 7-7 and a 6, or like 3 7s or 3 6s. Like that sounds good to me. Like I think that would be a great way to run them. I would want 3 units of these. I get the point of the Pioneers. Again, I don't know if I want to hedge so far into ion beam guns, or if I just want to make them the volume of fire guys. That might be the game plan. I don't know if I went 3 units or 2 units, because I definitely feel like their role is essentially to go out and die. And for 125 points, that doesn't feel the greatest, because they're not going to really efficiently trade. Again, look at those gun profiles. 5-1-1, 5-1-1, 5-1-1, 7-1-2. You're not trading with those guys. You're not. You're not getting a lot out of these except for the keywords. Applying the extra judgment token. Doing the mission, the secondary for Votann if you want to take it. the pregame move to just get them up the board. So it's like, I don't know if I want to do 3 3-mans or the 2 3-mans. I think 2 is definitely like a take just because they're still good units. They still accomplish, that early game presence you need at the midboard at least to get people out so you can shoot them. And then to the big land fortresses. I love the beam weapons on all the side guns. I think that's the best way to do it. You get 8 shots. That's so good. Like, yeah, just spend the 20 points, get 8 shots. Though it would be hard for me to not take it. I don't know if it'd be possible or not, but could LV possibly had a play like Tau with Manka while the whole advancing and just getting as close as possible with the extra AP? They're not as durable as Tau was with old Montka. Because at least with Tau, you could have all the shield drones giving you 4-ups. The crisis suits themselves could have the 4-ups. And they also could just use a bucket of dice. Like, they could be putting out with the burst cannons. Because burst cannons were, 5 shots apiece? 6 shots apiece? So it's like, granted, it's only 1 AP, but it's, or 1 to 2 AP. It's just a bucket of dice. And Votann doesn't have that. A lot of their shooting profiles are medium AP, medium volume, medium strength. Like, there's very few guns in this army that it's just like, holy crap. Like, it's just like, yep, I'm going to get my 12 shots. That's going to be strength 6, 7, -2, maybe -3. But that's why, again, another thing that I was thinking about changing with the list is putting Sagittars in, because then I feel like you might have that durability and that speed to kind of play like that old Montka style. Because I'm not sure what the Sagittars saves are on innately. There are 3 ups. Okay, so they have a 5-up involved. But oh shit, their beam cannon is a oof. But yeah, I think that was going to be one of my changes as well if I reconsider Votann at some point. Is definitely going Sagittars, which is, like I said, kind of why I want to try like a patrol vanguard of this army. Really hedge into Berserks in Sagittars, throw them up the field, and then you just have just this like super mobility Sagittar with just the super durability of the Berserks. Because what's their wounds? They have 9 wounds as well. Yeah, I think I may have slept too hard on the Sagittars, and I think that's my own fault. Yeah, I think that was just me. I slept too hard on the Sagittars, for sure. I didn't realize that they had. I didn't realize they had that many wounds. I thought they were only going to be like a 5-wound model. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that would be some things I definitely change for the army. Don't rely on warriors. They're not a good game plan. Get rid of the Magna Rail. I just don't think it's worth it. It's that same philosophy of hammerhead railguns. Unfortunately, I thought with the auto wounding, it'd be just a little bit more reliable for you. I never felt good shooting that gun. Because you roll that 1, when you're on a gun that's always going to be 2s to wound, you're going to roll a fuck ton of 1s. It's just going to happen. I think I rolled 7 1s with that Magna Rail on Saturday. It's just going to happen. It's just, it's I've experienced it in every Tau matchup I've ever played. I rarely have hammerheads wound me. And with rerolls or without them. It's just that, it's that like Warhammer karma for you. Yeah, so that was my experience playing Votann. So yeah, changes Key points of the changes: number 1, don't play warriors; they're not worth the points. Number 2, lean more into Sagittars for sure. I still don't know how I feel about the Hearthguard. I know with the Vulcanite Disintegrators, as like a 5-man, you can get like 15 shots. So like a 10-man, you get 30 shots where 6 is auto wound, or 6 are mortals. So it's like there's a world where that, may tickle your fancy. But I know Ymir is the shooty conglomerate, but I definitely would love to try just going Sagittars and Berserks and just having a fucking field day. Just going wild. But yeah, so 0-3. I still think I had like a 200-point weekend. Did I? No, I didn't. I had like a 190 weekend. So like I said, definitely the worst performance of any of the RTTs I had. Actually, probably in general. But I had fun with the army, for sure. Saturday wasn't that fun, because like I said, a lot of my opponents rolling very good, and a lot of me rolling very poorly. But besides that fact, I still think the army's fun. I'd love to figure out their secondaries. I'd love to talk to more people that are more dedicated to play them. Just because, again, I feel like I do know the codex very well. So I can really talk things out with them, brew lists with them, and just I kind of want to watch more games, just kind of be that spectator with them and love to see them in a more experienced hands for sure. Love to see them in like a quote unquote pros hands and see what they decide to do with the army and how they play them, and those certain little windows that you don't necessarily see as a semi-competitive player like myself. Yeah, so that's that. So, like I said, that is the end of the RTT season for Warp Storm. Obviously, most of you that are here may know, but for those who don't, I'm very close and personal friends with Quinn, the store owner. We got into Warhammer approximately the same time. He's the reason why I ended up getting into Warhammer. It was something I was debating for a very long time. But he got into it, so I got into it. He had his game shop at Falklandia, went there all the time, and then he finally got to get Warp Storm, be independent, and do his own thing. So obviously, I'm now playing there, giving him the support that he has. So it's like this RTT series is something very special to me because it's something that I don't care how I do. I just want to see my friends succeed. Quinn, I absolutely love him. He stood up at my wedding. Yeah, dude's like a brother to me. So, like I said, I'm super happy the RTT series went as successful as it was. I believe Ryan, who's the TO, said that we had 110 unique players by the end of the year. And, I mean, that's just... I think out of the group that we have, if you would have told us back in, last October, that we would have had 110 unique players at this thing, none of us would have believed you. We all would have said that you're absolutely insane. I know Quinn's super grateful. Ryan's super grateful. Gamecraft Dragon, I know if he's still hanging around, he's super happy to see that. I mean, the rest of us guys that are part of that, quote-unquote TO group, we just wanted to see the community build. We wanted to see Quinn be successful, and that's all we wanted out of it. We wanted a place, obviously you want a place that everybody feels comfortable playing. So it's awesome to see that 110 people thought that, this is a place that we want to play with. And this is where we want to spend our time. We want to spend money on these guys. Like, that's the wildest thought, you know what I mean? Like, and another little side shout out, of course, we could not have done it without, Exactly. It is a crazy, again, we all would have laughed at you. No, you cannot believe there was 110 unique people in the Milwaukee, Green Bay. I think that's the farthest north that we got people from, was Green Bay, Madison guys. speaking of the Madison guys, again, huge credit to Eric Forsman and his Thunder Tactic boys, his team up from Madison. We would not have had a lot of the turnouts without them as well. The support that Eric has given Quinn and us, and just the networking he's done when it comes to the behind the scenes stuff and the stuff that he's trying to do to get Warp Storm blown up nationally. Again, I know Quinn, myself, Ryan could not be more grateful for those guys. Absolutely love the Tundra guys. We love that they come down here and play these tournaments. I know that Quinn and I have talked for a while about trying to get up in Madison more and more often, but me having a little one and Quinn not actually having the shop is a little more difficult, but we couldn't imagine that this is where we would be, especially when it comes to a hobby. Quinn and I come from card games. Quinn's played a lot more card games than myself, but, we met through playing Magic the Gathering. We did some traveling. Quinn did a lot of traveling, but I don't think in his wildest dreams he thought Magic could do this for him. So it's just like the most sincere part of me, and I know Quinn would say the same thing if he was here, and that's kind of why I'm speaking for him. Like, absolutely love you guys for showing up and playing. Could not be happier with that at all. So now that the sappy part is done, now we have to look forward to the main event, to what this whole year was built for, and all these streams I did, and talking about my thoughts and playing armies and trying to narrow down things of how I want to play and stuff like that. We have the Invitational. And with the Invitational, we had the qualifying 32 players. Does that zoom in good enough? There we go. So, as you can see, the people who have just win next to their name mean that they have either won in RTT or they got in the top 3 positionings and the person above them had already qualified through it. Obviously not taking away from those people at all. It's just, again, that explanation. They performed well at the RTT, got within the top 3, qualified for it. So 17th, right in the middle of the pack, kind of where I'm used to being when it comes to most competitive games, and I'm just trying to finally get over that hump. But again, we have... Best part about it is Team Warpstorm Gaming themselves. Everybody a part of the team is qualified. That's obviously huge goal number 1. It'd be really embarrassing to represent the store and then not have all of us qualify for the event. So yeah, that's what the leaders board looks like. Those pairings and everything else, that will be taken care of when we get there, or the day we get there. I know Ryan said he plans on letting these people all know within the next couple days via email that they've qualified. Here's what you got to do to claim your ticket and all that kind of fun stuff. 17th. I do enjoy that out of points-wise would be 16th. And overall, there's tied one person that made it through a tournament win and beat one person through a tournament win. So knowing that, hey, I'm scoring points well, good-ish win rate or win percentage. So it's like the goal was to get here, right? That should always be the goal. Get to the top or get within fighting distance of the top. Invitationals up in Hobby Nights. It's going to be these 32 people, maybe, depending on people that may be able to make it, drops, etc., etc. But these are the 32 initial invites, pending what may happen when it comes to availability for people. And again, that's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. So as I said, quick turnaround. Lists are due this Sunday. Got to batten down the hatches. Got to get ready to go. I already know I've gone through 3 different lists with the army I'm taking. I'm not going to spoil it quite yet. Though if people know what I've been successful on, it'll be a pretty easy idea of what I'll be bringing. But it's going to be a couple new toys that I need to test with, get used to playing, and all that fun jazz. But I'm excited. It's an army I know. It's an army I've like just fallen in love with. And yeah, like I said, I'm just excited. I'm excited to have a super competitive weekend. A lot of these RTTs, though competitive, are a little more laid back. If you're coming from the Magic world, they're a lot more like game days. You want to win, but you may not be bringing the hottest heat. So yeah, that's next week. And as I said before, I was going to kind of talk about a little bit of the future with not Warpstorm the store, because obviously I can't speak for whatever Quinn and the rest of the crew that runs the store, their game plans are. I obviously cannot do that because I'm not one of them. But I'm pretty much like... I am co-captain of Team Warpstorm Gaming, and Quinn and I are pretty much running it all. Quinn's kind of passed the baton to me to make it my, where I'm going to be point man on it, just because, again, he has the store and everything else he's got to worry about. But what does that mean to people watching this, and why do you care, and other things like that? Obviously, with us wanting to do this team, something that, because I've gotten very passionate about Warhammer since I started playing it. I mean, I think about this game pretty much 24/7. I'm on my phone brewing up lists, looking at army lists, looking at tournament winnings, tournament losers, top threes of tournaments, what the pros are playing, what people in Europe are playing. As I said, I'm addicted. I am all in on this game. I absolutely love this game. So priority number one is to grow it. That's what our team wants to do. We want to be a positive reinforcement to the game of Warhammer. Obviously, we're going to be a competitive team and go to tournaments and travel and want to win. Obviously, that's the point of being a competitive team. But what we don't want to lose along the way is the passion of the game. We had initially some thoughts with the team, and I don't want to say the word requirement because that sounds really harsh, but expectations that we had of the players, and some of them spoke up and said, we don't want to lose our passion for the game. We don't want this to be a job. We don't want that to be the outcome. So Quinn and I, took a step back and thought about it, and we were like, hey, you know what? Though not every person is going to have the same passion that we have when it comes to competitive. Not the game, just competitive side of it. Because Quinn and I, like I said, we're competitive mofos. We want to win. We want to be on top. Hate losing. We're competitive dudes. So we got to take that step back and realize, you know what? Warhammer isn't Magic. This game is so much more than just showing up with 2K of an army, putting it on the table, and beating your opponent. That's what Magic is. When you get to the nitty-gritty of it and you want to become very competitive in the game, even at a team standpoint, you don't really care if you're having fun or if the experience is super fun. You want to be obviously sportsman, have good sportsmanship, but you don't care about the experience. You want to win. I want to put you to 0 life points, and I want to win. 40K isn't that, and I think that's what made me refine a passion in a hobby, and why I gravitated so much to this hobby is because just playing the game is fun, even at the highest level. Even if you're two sweaty dudes, just we both brought the meanest army we could think of, it's still fun. You're both, you're cracking jokes, buying each other drinks, whether adult or not, talking about, hey, I'm from here, you're from there. If you're ever in my neck of woods, look me up. I never had that experience in Magic. And so, like I said, we thought about it, and that's what we care about most. We want the passion. We just want the passion for the game. Giant Apocalypse game when? Soon. Trademark. Soon. Look, keep an eye out in the the chat. Definitely have something brewing for that. But that's priority number one. We want to grow the game, whether locally or again, if we're in the middle of nowhere like Wyoming for a tournament for some reason, we want to help that community out. We just want to pull people in, get people to want to play the game. That's the goal number one. That's what we want to do. We want people to see the fun we have, the passion we have, and wanting to getting into the game. So that would put me to the second thing. What we want to do is, which kind of is like a 1A kind of concept, is growing the game. We want to put out content. I've been doing these quote unquote solo for a while. And so what we want to do is provide content to the community. We initially want to do bat reps, but of course would love to do podcasts, do hobby stuff. Again, just getting ourselves out there to the community, letting them see what we're doing, stuff like that. Educational stuff. Just be like, hey, let's do a list breakdown video. Let's do an army breakdown video. Let's do a codex review. Let's do that kind of stuff. I mean, the stuff you see from regular content creators of Warhammer, we want to start doing that stuff as well. Our views, our opinions, and stuff like that. So that's something as well as that we want to start getting down the pipeline. I know that's going to be a huge, huge, huge thing for us next year, next actual season for 40K. I guess I can say this is a little bit of a spoiler here, but for LVO, the Las Vegas Open, if you don't know what that is, it's the biggest Warhammer event for GW that's not their own events. Big 3-day tournament, champs. They have everything there. X-Wing, AOS, Kill Team. God, what other games they have there? Star Wars Legion, Armada. I mean, they got everything. What I'd like to do, I'd like to get the camera to be able to do it. We're going to do a whole week vlog. Me and the guys are going to be there all week. There's going to be 4 of us there all week. And that's going to be the game plan. Going to vlog it. Going to put it up there. You guys are going to see what we're seeing. You guys are going to experience what we experience. We're going to live it up in Vegas. That's going to be the game plan. See what the storm can brew in Vegas. But it'll be stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff we want to do. We want to get content out there. We want people to know who we are. We want to be a beacon for the community to look up to come to, and say, hey, you know what? I want to play with these guys. I want to chill with these guys. I want, talk with these guys. Adepticon as well. That's going to be another one. I would love to get a huge crew for vlog it up for as much as we can. Get our local stuff supported, get that stuff more out there, do all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to be sober for a lot more than 50% of the trip. My body cannot handle alcohol like it used to. And then the third aspect of the team, of course, is to bring the gold. You know what I mean? Fill up the Star Wars trophy cases and all the glory. But like I said, that's at this point, it's a background thought. We want to win. We want people that are on the team that also want to win, but we don't want people to feel like we're those guys. Like, oh my God, it's like, oh, here comes this guy, Mr. Sweaty businessman. He only wants to do is play the game, and it's not going to be cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what we want. Like, we want to win, and we want to perform well, and we want to get people, to that competitive aspect and show them that passion. But we're not here to, that's not what we're here for. But yeah, that's the game plan for Warp Storm, the team. That's what we want to accomplish. Hell yeah, it does. I don't care what trophy it is. Said I got my... Where the hell did it go? Said I still got my one medal. I mean... Said I'm not bringing a lot, but I'm bringing something. Like, we just want to see everyone be successful and still have fun. That's where we're at. We want the team to be known. We want people, events, other places. We want people to want Warp Storm. That's where I think the mentality of Quinn and I have changed from the past. We were talking about this almost a year ago when we were just getting into the hobby competitively. We're like, oh, dude, we're going to get the best team, and we're only going to worry about winning and only worry about playing the game. And then, he started maturing more with the game or with the store. I started maturing more with just seeing how the tournaments are played out. Because at that point, I never played in a tournament. I just remember how Magic tournaments were, and it's just like, it was all about winning. And then I went to LVO, and it's just like, dude, these people don't give a shit about winning. Like, obviously they want to win, but it's not like they're not assholes about it. They're like, yo, dude, like, super chill and all this other stuff. And they'll talk with you after the game of what they think you could have done better or what they could have done better. Hey, I like your list. Give me some tips on how I beat it better or how I can beat it. Or here are some of the things to think about next time you face a list like mine. Like, that stuff doesn't happen in Magic. And it changed my perspective. And it's like, I just want people playing the game. I would love for one day to literally walk into Warp Storm and there is no room to play, period. And not like, oh, let's combine some tables over here. No, I want to be able to be one of the first guys in that building and still not have the ability to play a game. That's what I want. And I think, obviously, being a businessman, Quinn would say the same thing. But I think that's what our community wants. We want people playing the game. And I'm super excited for us to start getting into AOS. I wish competitive 40K kind of had a little bit of an off season, so I could explore more options for Warhammer. But I have a lot of personal goals I want to achieve next year, so it's just strictly 40K for me for a while. I'd love to start seeing Kill Team. I've watched a lot of Kill Team bat reps and stuff like that. I think Kill Team's a really cool concept of the game. I'd love for us to get more into like miniatures. I'd love to start seeing Star Wars Legion show up. Love to start seeing that. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. It's a tabletop game, miniatures game. Would love it. I have my Clone Troopers literally right in front of me that I painted up. Like, man. Like, so obviously, again, those are all goals. Everybody that has been with us for the journey, that will continue to be with us with the journey. Again, we can't appreciate you guys enough. I've heard good things about Song of Fire and Ice. I've heard good things of Lord of the Rings. I think generally the off-season 40K is when the next edition is announced. Then people are likely, why bother until the next one drops? I 100% agree with you. After LVO, will be very interesting to see how many people will want to commit to 9th edition. Because there's all those rumors / confirmations that 10th edition is Q2, Q3 of next year. So it's like, man, do we focus on 9th edition? What are tournaments going to do once 10th edition books start slowly rolling out? Are they going to do what they initially said and they're going to roll out all the books at once? Like, it's... Until we get to that season of leaks, I kind of agree with you. We might have a lull of super high competitive 40K tournaments because it's either going to be just chaos where everybody's going to try getting as many tournaments as they can in before 10th edition, or people are going to be like, hey, let's slow it down. This is going to be a weird season. Let's wait until 10th edition comes out, and then let's just hit the ground like a screaming banshee. And again, how much different is 10th going to be from 9th? I mean, there's so many people out there with different rumors of, it's going to be played a lot more like 30K. It's going to be played... there's going to be no stratagems. There's going to be no CP. There's going to be more like AOS. Like, I don't know. Because again, they're all rumors and polarizing, and I don't know. It's hard to think about what rumors will be true and not be true because they're never. It's not consistent. I don't know how I feel about the reaction system from Heresy. I know what it is. I don't know how I feel about it because obviously I haven't like played it to truly experience it. I just know it exists and I've like seen some battle reports with it, and I don't know how I would feel about it with 40k. But again, who knows? I mean, they could also tweak it a little bit more to make it more efficient. Or more 40k, or more 40k-esque, I should say, not more efficient, but like more 40k-esque. The biggest rumor I heard for a very long time, which I hope to God they don't do, is the alternating turns, or alternating unit turns. I don't think 40k is a way you want to play that game. Yep, and that's a really good point. That's what a lot of players have said isn't fun when you face a super efficient shooting army that you don't get to play the game. You kind of just go, cool, my army's dead. It was fun. So like I said, it would really depend on what's super relevant for the game. Yeah, and I don't know if that's what I want for the game though. I didn't play old editions, so it's hard for me. I mean, I started with 9th. So it's like for me personally, I don't want to see too many changes. I'd much rather, number one, I would love a lot more clarifications for the actual game itself than anything else. I would love a universal rule on terrain. That'd be really dope. That no matter what you're using, it's always going to be this set of terrain. I don't care what it is. There's too many random scenarios that they don't think of when they think of stratagems and stuff like that. I personally would be I would be okay with getting rid of stratagems and making them a lot of, because this was something somebody else pitched, of like command phase abilities. But the problem is with just like making them a whole bunch of just abilities, that's a lot of bookkeeping. That'll be rough. Well, that's the thing with 40k, or at least how 9th edition rolled out. Everything went in phases. I know in like early codexes for 40k, it was, or for 9th edition, it was like everything was transhuman. And then we went from everything being transhuman to everything just being a million shots. And then we went from everything being a million shots to everything having invulns. Then we went from 4-up invulns. Then we went from 4-up invulns to trans hitman. Then we went to no rerolls. Like that's currently where we're at. Is like we're in that really weird of like there's no rerolls anymore. No like Votann, no rerolls to wound. Like we're just in a weird cycles. Like they kind of make codexes in waves of abilities. So that's how I feel like 9th edition went. I mean, demons are probably the only like asterisks to that, but I feel like in every wave there was like one army that's kind of an asterisk. Like the wave of 4-up invulns, like the Custodes era, Gene Stealers didn't get anything fun. Usually every wave of new codexes, there's one bad codex. So, like, I'm interested to see between Votann, Guard, and World Eaters, which one of the three is going to be the worst codex. Not saying like the army itself is bad, but like out of the group, what codex would be the worst out of that group? Because during that Custodes time, because it was pretty much those Grey Knights, Thousand Sons, Custodes, Gene Stealers were back to back in months, and Gene Stealers definitely got the shit end of that stick. Gene Stealers still are not great. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the guard stuff yet. Like, I know from what I felt in just some of the things I've seen. I mean, obviously I haven't read through it too much at all. It just seems like they just got more efficient. Like, they just got the 9th edition upgrades they needed. I don't know if they're going to be busted. I don't know if they're going to be, like, insane. I don't know if they're going to be, like, Harlequin status. Yeah, I don't know. What I would also like is consistency in changes, i.e. FAQs, data slates. I would much prefer, or point changes. I'd much prefer the point changes, any point changes, data slates, FAQs to happen all at once. I don't like having it happen 1 month, and then another month, and then another month, and then, like, just group it together. Well, from the rumors I heard with World Eaters is that you can do Angron, which has wound caps, or may have wound caps, Abaddon, and the Bloodthirster. So that means you can have 3 models on the table with wound caps, and one of them being 20 fucking wounds. 24 wounds. Like, not a fan of that. I don't feel like having that be an army. Because I'm assuming Angron's going to have... He's probably going to move like 9 with like an advance in charge built in or some bullshit. Or move 12. I don't know. Like, again, I would not be a fan of like Bloodthirsters, Bloodletters with the Red Butchers, Angron, and Abaddon. Like, yeah, I'll pass on that. Yeah, exactly. I could see them giving him a 10 just because he can fly, but then let him advance in charge. Yeah. Yeah, not a fan of that. Especially with wound cap, he'll probably have, what, like 12 wounds, 16 wounds? And they typically give a person the opportunity to kill a wound capped character in a single turn. So if he's like 18, okay, so his wound caps will be 6 then. Because that's like, I mean, Gaz is 12 wounds, but he caps at 4, so you can kill him in 3 phases. The Bloodthirster's 24, he caps at 8, so he can be killed in 3 phases. Abaddon is 9, wound cap is 3, so he can die in 3 phases. So if he's 18, then yeah, his wound cap will be 6. So he can die in 3 phases. Ugh, not a fan. That was just the rumor. Again, I don't know if he is or isn't, but yes. So, yeah, I think World Leaders is definitely going to be the most quiet ripple of the codexes, but I don't know if they'll have the worst codex. That's for sure. Yeah, personally, I'm interested to see what happens to the Guard because people are starting to slowly realize that Guard aren't that horrible. Like they can still put up good wins. They've been performing. Like the last Meta Monday, I believe they had like 2 top 5s, 1 top 5. But man, let's quickly talk about that. By the way, the Smurfs took a tournament. Round of applause. Round of applause. I actually want to look that up. So I want to see that person's list. Good for that person. Give it to the Blue Boys. What tournament was that? The Riverside Classic. Cool. Oh God, why can't I put in... I love the team name, by the way. Their team name is Xenos Petting Zoo. Captain, Tech Marine, Incursion, Infiltrator, 3 Redemptors, Big Ol' Bobby G, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce that name. Astreus? Who the hell is that guy? Oh, it's the big fucking tank. Oh, this is even better. This won. Woof. I gotta grab it. I gotta see this thing's data sheet. Does it have all the guns? Heavy Stubber, Las Ripper, Storm Bolter, Heavy Bolter. It just has all the guns. Okay, cool. It's a hover tank. Oh, okay, this is the Void Shields. Got it. Got it. This is great. Oh my god, you can give it a 5-up against mortals. That's amazing. You can subtract 2 from the charge from this thing. That's amazing. So it's got a heavy 2, 9-3 D6. It's got a heavy 4, 4-1-1. Oh, definitely. He's got a big plasma gun. That's a 7.42 or an 8.43. Typical storm bolters, typical heavy bolter, typical las cannon. And then he has a heavy 12 gun. Woof. Heavy 12, 8.23. This thing is dope. It has 30 wounds. Holy fuck. And it can fly? Bruh. This guy's my hero right now. This guy is straight up my hero. It is not a transport. There's no way this thing is a transport. Because it has to have the keyword, right? There's no way this thing's a fucking transport. Where does it say it can carry dudes? Doesn't it have to be on the datasheet to say it can carry dudes? That's amazing. If this thing can also carry dudes, this is great. There's so few models. What did this guy end up beating? Oh, that alone answers the question. Okay, the top 6 players are all from the same team. We'll start there. Wow, this is wild to me. But as Imperial Knights, I feel like this thing just eats Imperial Knights for breakfast. Space Wolves got 6th. Good for them. Gene Stealers in 9th. This is a wild tournament. Where was this place? California? This is a wild tournament. First place also almost had the lowest amount of points out of the top 8. Yikes. Did they have plasma cannons? They had the plasma incinerators. This is a wild list. I guess I can swap over so you guys can see the list. This is a wild ass list. So Captain with a Melta, Tech Marine, with Rights of War. Does that work for the Dreadnoughts? Dude, holy shit. So he pretty much just put he literally just put his dick on the table in the middle and was just like, come at me, bro. This is great. I wish I could have been there. This is an awesome list. So what was his journey? Oh god, they didn't. What's his name? Ryan. Okay. What was this dude's journey? What did he have to go through? A 1-point win. Bro. No way. Why is it doing that way? Let me see his list. I have to seriously do this. Oh, that wasn't even round 1. That was round 5. Spoiler alert. So what did he face? Round 1. Daniel Redahouse. What was he playing? Iron Warriors. Dropped. Oh, I'm assuming because duh. So Iron Warriors was his round 1. There we go. Having a moment. Everybody calm down. Round 2. Against Robert Ramos. What was he bringing? Robert Ramos was bringing Tau, which I guess does make sense. Round 3. Nice, by the way. Nice. Against RJ. Tau again. Did he seriously dodge the Knight players? Kyle Perry. Elves. I'm surprised he did that well in the Elves. What did he bring? Warlocks, Baroth, Eldred, Rangers, Dire Avenger. Dire Avenger. Oh, this is the Wraith Lords. Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. You've got big FU guns against the big FU guys. And yeah, round 5 by a point. He got first place by a point, dude. Wow. Wow, that is wild. Oh, he took out Knights in the last round. That is crazy. What a journey, though. Iron Hands, Double Tau, Uthway, Knights. And you win by 1. That's wild. Good for this guy, though. Was there any other wild wins this weekend? I don't think so. Yeah, Ynnari, Tau, Necrons, Cobb, Dark Angel. I guess Dark Angels is kind of a wild one. Demons, Ynnari, Demons, Death Guard. Ooh, a Death Guard one. Nice. Demons, Sisters, Blood Angels, Tyranids, Ynnari, yeah. So I guess there's what? Death Guard, Ultramarines, and Dark Angels with surprise wins. I wonder what the Death Guard guy was playing. No Retreat. Oh god, I have so many windows open. Space Age. Dark Angels are a definite surprise. I'm Alright, what did the Death Guard player have to go through? Alright. He scored well, too, at Death Guard, actually. He had 100 with Death Guard in round 5. Good for him. Like, legit. That's impressive. This is a scary top 8, too. Chaos Knights, Drakari, Tyranids, Imperial Knights, Black Legion, Tyranids, Tau. It's a solid top 8 to fight through. William Maybach is his name. Andrew Martin. What was Andrew Martin bringing? Andrew Martin was bringing guard. Okay. I already forgot. Oh, there he is. Lachlan. You can definitely tell these are Aussie names. Love it. Lachlan. Custodes. Wow. Oh, I guess that's not too surprising. What Custodes was? What was he doing? Emperor's Chosen. That's 2,000 points? Dog, you don't have anything. Oh, these are 5-mans, that's why. Those were 3-mans. I was like, wait a minute. Not a fan of that guy's list. But to each their own. 95 to 21 against Emperor's Children. Whoa. Wow. What was his other point difference? 82 to 61, 90 to 67. I didn't think he could have beaten Emperor's Children that hard. And then this is a 100-point round against... his 100-point rounds was against Tyranids. This guy's wild. These guys are my heroes right now, dude. Holy crap. And then his last round was against the Chaos Knights player. 100 points against Tyranids. That to me is crazy, playing Death Guard. He beat the Tyranid player 100-49. Wow. Okay, well, now I'm kind of seeing the list, and it kind of makes sense. But, alright, I went down that rabbit hole. Alrighty, but I do appreciate everybody stopping in. I think that's what I'm going to call it tonight. It is 10 o'clock. Been doing this for an hour and a half. I may throw something on. Another stream on before the Invitational. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. But I definitely will be doing something after the Invitational and try to put something out before LVO and all that kind of fun stuff. But I do appreciate everybody stopping in. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.